Are you ready to break free from the doubts and limits holding you back? Welcome to Embrace Your Value, where therapy meets coaching to help you unlock your true worth and take control of your life.
Hi, I'm Kristen, a trauma therapist dedicated to helping you heal, break old patterns, and reclaim your power.
And I'm Jen, your support coach, here to show you how to set fierce boundaries, embrace self-compassion, and step boldly into the life you deserve.
So whether you're stuck in self-doubt or feeling lost, know this: your value isn't up for negotiation. It's time to own it.
Every week, we tackle real issues that challenge, inspire, and empower you to live with purpose and confidence.
So grab your favorite drink, take a deep breath, and let's get started.
Because you're not here to play small. It's time to embrace your value.
Welcome back to Embrace Your Value, where we explore the inner work that helps us live boldly and authentically. I'm Kristen Burrus, trauma therapist and compassionate guide. And with me is Jen Anderson, your beliefs and boundaries specialist.
Hi, everyone. Today we're diving into an essential topic: boundaries and the power of saying yes, but not just any yes. And if you know me and you are in my world, you're probably sitting there thinking, but you always say to say no. It's okay. We're just going to talk about it a little differently today, okay? We're exploring what makes a yes true and sacred versus a yes that might actually cost our well-being. So normally I tell you to say no to protect your energy. And that still holds true. It's the same in this. This you're just evaluating, is this yes something I want to do? And is it something I need? Is it protecting my energy? Or is it draining me? And then you get to decide which way you let your yes go.
Absolutely. The difference between a healthy yes that feels good and aligns with your values and a codependent yes that comes from fear or guilt or trying to please others. So it's a conversation that all of us need because boundaries show up in every relationship: family, friends, work, even our relationship with ourself.
Setting and protecting our boundaries isn't about becoming rigid or selfish. It's about honoring what truly serves our growth and well-being. I think I say that every day to someone.
I love it. It's such a great thing to say, and everybody needs to hear it.
Yes.
So, how do we distinguish or discern a healthy yes versus a codependent yes? So, we need to start by defining these two types. And Jen touched on this in the very beginning, but a healthy yes is one you give freely without sacrificing your needs or values. It feels expansive and you have the energy to follow through with it.
In contrast, a codependent yes often comes from an emotional obligation, guilt, or the fear of disappointing others. It might look like saying yes when you want to say no out of an obligation of people pleasing. It might also look like saying yes because you still want this person to like you. And that is not a reason to say yes to something that your heart is not into.
Clinically, codependent yeses can lead to burnout, resentment, and loss of identity because they erode your ability to honor yourself. Recognizing when a yes comes from this place is the first step to reclaiming your power.
Yes, I love that. So, this is something you can do as a listener. Just reflect. When you say yes, Are you alive and energized, or are you drained and resentful afterwards? That's a major clue about whether the yes is sacred or it's codependent. Let's talk about how to discern if a yes aligns with your values. So, Kristen, how do we decide if a yes truly aligns with who we are and what we value?
It's a great question, and one I think that we need to ask ourselves every single time we want to say yes. So we have to go back to our value system and our values. So we've talked about this multiple times. And if this is your first episode, then I'll give you a little refresher. Our core values, those are the things that are most important to us in life. So it could be things like inner peace. It could be things like good, healthy friendships. Like I could go on and on. But first, you have to know what those are. And we have some episodes that you can go back and look for. I believe they're called core values, actually. I think there's two. And so once you have those, once you really understand what your core values are, then you know what matters most for your well being, your growth, and your authentic self expression. When a yes supports those values, it expands you rather than contracts you.
And I use a simple exercise with clients. Before saying yes, pause and ask, does this align with my priorities and boundaries? Does it contribute to my vision for life? If the answer feels uncertain or negative, it's okay to say no or even to ask for more time. And there's a little caveat to that I also use with clients, and that's this. If they're pressuring you in the moment or you feel pressured, even if they're not, it is perfectly acceptable to say, I need to think about it. Can I get back to you? Because that gives you the time and the space to really figure out, is this something I can do? Does this align with my priorities and my boundaries? Is this something that's me? Or should I respectfully decline? So we do it in a kind, gentle manner. We're not mean about it. And really be okay with saying, this just doesn't work for me right now. So don't feel like you have to do this all in the moment. You are allowed to ask for time and space.
Yes. And it's important to also listen to your body and your emotions. Sometimes your gut or your nervous system sends red flags when a request doesn't serve you, even if your mind tries to rationalize saying yes.
Discernment is a skill that strengthens with practice. And the more you honor your values, the easier it becomes to say a sacred yes confidently.
So, what do boundaries in family, friendships, and work look like? So, and ourselves, right? Said that earlier. So, boundaries look different depending on the relationship. Family boundaries might involve limiting contact or setting expectations about conversations. Friendship boundaries may require saying no to social gatherings that drain you. At work, boundaries might mean protecting your time or workload limits.
Boundary setting isn't always big, confrontational moments. A lot of times it's a small daily choice that keep your yeses aligned and your boundaries intact. Like turning off your phone during family dinner or asking your colleagues to respect your focused work time. You can also not check your emails after a certain time in the evening. There are so many things that you can do, even if it's a boss. And it's a boss that always crosses that boundary and texts you in the middle of the night and says, why haven't you done this? Or why is it? You aren't required, unless you work for somebody that you get paid to be on call 24/7. You don't have to do that. That is not a requirement. So set your boundary, and you'll have to be mean about it. I will always express that. You can still be firm and not be mean, but you are allowed to do that and to just say, hey, I will check it in the morning. And when I get in the office, I'll take a look at whatever you need me to take a look at. It's a great way to handle it.
Absolutely. So, what keeps people from setting boundaries? I would say the number one reason is the pushback or the guilt that the others will be giving you when you set those boundaries. Because basically, the only time there's a need to set a boundary is when we feel like we have been violated. Our boundary, our value has been violated in some way. So take your example of the boss texting at night and they are violating your family or at home or downtime. And so that's when we have to set a boundary. Well, nobody wants to hear that they've done something wrong, right? And so that I think is the thing that keeps people most from actually setting boundaries. I was talking to somebody just today about this, but I think the thing to remember is healthy boundaries create healthier relationships. People learn to respect you more when you respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you won't put up with this behavior from other people. And then the boundaries become easier and easier to make and keep.
Yes, 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 yes. I was over here cheering because it's true. It's absolutely true. So listeners, notice where your boundaries feel fuzzy or weak. These are the boundaries that maybe you don't want to set or that you set, you've told people, but you don't uphold them. You're just like, it's okay. I'll check that email because you called me and asked me to do it. It's not okay, but that's your call. That's where those energy leaks come from. And that's when resentment really builds up. So I encourage you, Kristen encourages you, we encourage you to start practicing clarity and kindness with yourself and others. Start this practice today. Start with one boundary that you can set that will really help to build more boundaries off of. One that's easy, one that you can uphold, and you can get practice with it. So then you can just build off of it.
Yes. And as soon as you get a win with the boundary, then you see the effects of it and you can start gaining some momentum. So to wrap up, healthy yeses are sacred acts of self-honor, while codependent yeses cost you energy and identity. Getting clear on your values and setting boundaries across relationships empowers you to say yes authentically.
Your action step, we kind of just talked about it, but we're going to do it again. Identify one yes you recently said that didn't feel right. Reflect on why and what boundary could have protected you. Like, what could you have done that would have been better? And if you don't know, reach out to us. This is a great place. Like, something happened and you feel like you said yes, but it wasn't quite right. And you don't know how you would have set the boundary, what would have happened. Send us an email. We'll get back to you and we'll help you come up with what that boundary could look like so that the next time it happens, you have something to fall back on. If you do know, though, then challenge yourself to set that one small boundary this week. Maybe it's saying no or asking for what you need. It could even look like looking at your calendar and where can you take something off that you maybe have already said yes to, or that isn't necessary to free up a little space for yourself and just give you back a moment to breathe.
Absolutely. That's a great first step. So we'd love to hear your experiences with setting boundaries or saying sacred yeses. Your story could inspire others navigating the same journey.
Thank you for embracing your value with us today. Remember, your yes is sacred. Protect it fiercely.
Thank you for being here with us today.
If today's episode hit home, Don't just keep it to yourself. Subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Because everyone deserves to know their worth.
Next week, we're diving even deeper with more insights and tools to help you break free from limitations and live authentically.
Until then, keep raising your standards, owning your worth, and embracing your value.